Today we're going to discuss Copilot Agents, which is a new set of capabilities that have come to Copilot. So those of you familiar with Copilot already will know it's a tool that has natural language processing and generative AI capability that allows us to submit a prompt and get a response and use organizational data to enhance that response. So we can ask questions and it can help us generate content and respond to those questions using a large language model that has access to the internet, but also our organizational data. So it opens up a great deal of capability there. And typically it's been used to date to help us draft new content. So create a pitch deck from this proposal document, for example, or update or manipulate this data in Excel for us. The idea of agents adds additional capability to that to automate processes or parts of processes. So Copilot already within Copilot Studio had the concept of calling actions, so we could call a Power Automate flow to go off and do something, for example. But the idea of an agent is that it could be fully autonomous. So we've effectively got Copilot as the user interface and the agent working in the background. So similar kind of set of technology. We've still got this idea of a connector architecture, so that agent can access other systems and other data and execute things on our behalf. But it's all brought together into a single package within Copilot and Copilot Studio. So where does this kind of fit in? So lots of the people we've spoken to today around AI are looking to solve particular problems, and some of those use cases are a good fit where it's about maybe roles that involve generating content. So if you're writing proposals or creating PowerPoint presentations or responding to emails, those are all good kind of use cases for Copilot. But also a lot of the people that we've spoken to actually have a process problem within their organization. So it's actually a process engineering exercise that needs to happen. So if this thing happens over here, I want to know about it. So if I get an email in with a document attached, I want this other department to know. That's not an AI job, that's an automation job. So quite often we're having conversations about process re-engineering to actually unlock those use cases. So this new Copilot Agents capability kind of brings those two conversations together. So it thinks about, well, how can we use AI, so natural language processing and generative AI, to support that process re-engineering exercise, which is a really interesting use case because it allows us to kind of tackle multiple problems and kind of change the way we're looking to implement AI and the types of problems that we're looking to solve. So with agents, what we can start to do is look at an overall business process. So maybe take the sales process, for example, and actually break that down into its component parts and think about maybe there's kind of processes in there that are suitable for an agent. So one of the examples Microsoft has released is a qualification agent, which will take lead or prospect data and go and look at maybe the background information on the company, what its size is, what industry it's in, is it a good fit for us as a business, is it a kind of project we want to work on, and do all that kind of background checking and knowledge gathering and work out whether it's something that we should be pursuing. So that's a good example of taking a small part of a sales process, which is big and complex and involves multiple teams, and automating some of it. So we can think about those agents as kind of small, unique apps that we can plug into different processes, and different people within the organization are going to have different use cases and different needs. So we'll effectively have a library of agents that can help different people in different ways. And then depending on what it is you're trying to do, the agent can help you to automate that. So yeah, when we're thinking about implementing those autonomous agents, it's important to think about that process from end to end, break it down into parts, and think about where we can add value by automating parts of that process. So on day one, we're not going to go in and say, right, we're going to replace that entire end-to-end business process with automation and an autonomous agent. Actually, it's where can we reduce the admin in there, or where can we take out kind of manual handovers between teams, those kinds of things. And then we can use agents for that. So because those agents have I would say effectively a user interface in the form of Copilot, that can be a two-way conversation with an agent, but it might ultimately result in the agent going off and executing a process. And we've got that architecture where it can go and connect to other systems. So if it needs to go and log a ticket, or it needs to go and qualify a lead, or it needs to go and check whether we've got stock of a particular item, all of those things are possible using that connector architecture. And we've got a simple UI to configure those things. So I'd say it's not necessarily lots of new technology. The way we're utilising it's been enhanced by AI. So when we're asking a question, Copilot can understand the context of that question and invoke the right agent to do the right thing for us, because it understands what the agents are capable of, and it understands what our question is based on the context and the being able to understand natural language. So it's really a combination of those technologies to really advance the capabilities and what we can do in terms of process automation. So Power Automate's been around for a while now in terms of an automation integration tool. Copilot's obviously reaching a level of maturity in terms of that user interface and that prompt and response paradigm. So bringing those two technologies together to create these autonomous agents is kind of the next step on the journey. So yeah, if you'd like to explore that a bit more, understand how we kind of approach the problem for our customers and how we break down those processes and look at opportunities for efficiency and automation in there, then get in touch and we can have a chat.